Very good morning, students. So, welcome all of you for today's online live session for class 5th students. So, once again, welcome all the participants for the advanced IIT or NEET Foundation or Focus C program by Krishnaveni Talent Schools and the Mastermind Schools. So, in last class, as we discussed about the basics of science. So, if you recall what we learned in the last session, so this is a clear picture where we learn about what is science and what are the various branches of science, because what we are discussing, physics is a part of science, right? So physics is the one part of the science you can see on the screen. So total branches, if you see, they are classified into 3 categories: natural science, social science, formal science. In this natural science, we'll come across physical science, life science, and earth science. In that physical science, again, you come across physics and chemistry. So physics is a part of physical science and natural science and science. Whereas remaining part, you can see life science is also called natural science, which includes biology, which is nothing but botany and zoology. Then earth science, study about the earth and its layers, comes under geology, meteorology, hydrology, and all. Social sciences, you can see sociology, psychology, anthropology, economics, and political science. And even mathematics also comes under science only in the form of formal science: mathematics, computer science, data science, statistics, and logics. So this is a complete picture about what is science. So in that, where we are going now, we are discussing only about the one small part of the science called physics. Because up to 5th class, you have no separate subject as physics. But we have when you go to the 6th standard or when you go to the IIT foundation classes, you can have a separate branch of science called physics, right? So already we discussed in the last class, physics deals about the 2 points. One is matter, study about the matter, and second one is energies, different types of energies, both together called physics. A branch of science deals with the properties of matter and various forms of energies like sound, light, electricity, heat. All these are the energies only. All these comes under physics only. We cannot read them in the mathematics or chemistry or biology. They all comes under physics. Such a wonderful branch of physics, which is a part of our daily life. Everyday life, every minute, every second, we'll have physics in our life. Without physics, we cannot move forward. Such a wonderful branch of science is called physics, right? So in physics, again, when you go to the physics, especially in case of matter, we'll discuss about all these. The main 50% of physics is mechanics. What? 50% of physics deals with a part called mechanics, right? First 50% mechanics, where we'll discuss about entire thing about the matter and its properties, that is displacement, velocity, acceleration, Newton's laws of motion. All these things come under the mechanics part of the physics. Okay, so we are not discussing much about that. Just we have to go for our today's topic actually. So after that one, again, second part is about energies, where we discuss about so many things. Electromagnetism, which is a very important part of energies. All these are the important terms related to physics. Okay. So many formulas, so many things, modern physics also there. One kind of physics only, where you can discuss about the electronics. Now, so today when you enter the topic, one of the important topic of the physics is, we're discussing is measurements. First chapter, right? Measurements, which is, you can see the pictures here. You can see the gifts here, how to measure. Measurements means we can come across so many things: scale, tape, so many meters are there, so many measuring devices, right? So measurements is a very important part of our daily life also. So what is measurement? Suppose when you wake up from the bed, milk person will come. We'll ask how much amount of milk you want. Either 500 ml or 1 liter or 2 liters, 1 packet or 2 packets. All this is a measurement only. Without measurement, you cannot take the milk. So when you go to vegetable market, you will take the vegetables, either potatoes, tomatoes, without any measurement, they won't give. They'll measure either pav kg, half kg, kg, or 2 kg. All these are the measurements only. When you go to supermarket, you'll pick up the packets of 500 grams, 250 grams, 1 kg. They are measurements. By measuring, they'll measure. So either suppose when you are traveling to the school, you'll measure the distance, how much distance is there from your home to school. That is also measurement only. So everything in your life is a measurement. Without measurement, you cannot move. So what is this measurement? For example, you have one stick. This is a stick, right? Stick is there. One scale is there. Right? One stick is there. One scale is there. Difference what is there? On scale, there is some divisions are marked. Say 1 to 30 centimeters. So if you want to measure the length of the stick, what we'll do? We'll take the scale and measure. So this is the stick is unknown quantity, whereas scale is known quantity. Right. So what we are doing? We are taking the scale and place it near the stick. When the stick is placed near the scale, we can get what is the length of the stick. Right? Means we are comparing unknown quantity with known quantity. One should be unknown, one should be known. Then only you can measure. You will take some potatoes. You place in the here balance, common balance. His balance is there now. You are placing potatoes here. So what you have to place here? Weight you have to place. Suppose 250 grams weight. Then when it is balanced, we can say that there are 250 grams of potatoes. So this is a measurement of mass. Whether it is a time, mass, length, velocity, speed, acceleration, everything can be measured. How much speed you are going? That is there, speedometer. When you see your 2 wheelers or 4 wheelers, you can find the speedometer, which shows the speed, whether 40 km per hour or 60 or 70, 80. What is this? This is also a measurement. Means our life, every part of our life, every inch of our life measured, it should be measurable. But further, what is the condition? Condition measurement is, suppose, see, 3 cases are possible. One is known, and second one is unknown. Case 1. So in second case, first one is known, second one also known. I tell examples. Third case, unknown and unknown. Where the measurement is possible. For example, both are unknown quantities. I gave one long stick for you and one long rod, iron rod. I asked you to measure. Can you measure? No, because both are unknown. We don't know the measurement of scale, measurement of iron also. If both are unknown, we cannot measure. Suppose if both are known, I gave one scale and one tape. Scale and tape, I ask you to measure the length. There is no meaning of measuring because already measurement is there. So for unknown quantities, no need to measure. For unknown quantities, we cannot measure. But whereas if one is unknown, one is known, we can measure. Scale, rod, potatoes, weight, tape, distance. So to measure any quantity, what we require? One is known quantity, other one is unknown quantity. Then only you can go for the measurement. Milk person will come, give the milk. What will do? You'll use the 500 grams can. You fill the milk and put in your vessel. If without that can, if you pour 500, you cannot get exact. There should be one known quantity and second one should be unknown quantity. Then only you can learn we can measure the length, right? You can see here how they are using tape. here tape, and here the. So like that, we can measure any quantity. The quantity which can be measured is called a physical quantity. Right? See what the chapter contains. Of course, you might have already discussed by your teachers in last 15 days. So what is measurement? I already explained you, right? Physical quantity. That means any quantity which can be measured, whether it's the time, length, distance, mass, velocity, acceleration, pressure, force, all comes under physical quantities only. The quantities which can be measured. And out of this, there are two types are there. One is fundamental quantity, and the second one is derived quantity. Some can be directly obtained, some can be obtained by different ways. So see, measurement can be done by sometimes by formula, right? Sometimes by some method, and sometimes by the right formula. One you can do by the formula, one by the using method, some by using the instruments. Right? Three ways we can measure any measurement, any physical quantity. Some of them by using formulas. For example, when you go to mathematics, area of triangle, circumference of circle, they all shapes or they are. So we are measuring by using a formula, 2 pi r square. So many formulas are there. So by using formula, you can measure some measurements, and some of them measured by the methods. There are some methods maybe there to measure the density of the substance, or irregular bodies length you can measure. But whereas the maximum physical quantities are measured by instruments, common balance, spring balance, watch to measure the time, scale, tape to measure the length, barometer to measure the pressure. Like that, there are so many devices, instruments to measure the various quantities, right? So then these physical quantities are measured by some standard measurements. So we cannot measure all the physical quantities by only one method. And that standard measurements are called units, which will come across in regular classes deep more. Unit. For example, mass is there. You want to measure your mass. We'll measure in kg. We cannot measure mass in centimeter or meter. Correct? So that is called standard. Suppose you want to measure the distance. We'll measure by meter or centimeter or kilometer. We cannot measure the distance by kg. Right? That is standard measurements. The standard measurement of any physical quantity, either it may be time, or time generally measured in seconds only, or minutes, hours. We cannot measure time in the centimeter and meter. Correct? That standard measurement is called unit. So there is, without unit, there is no meaning for the physical quantity. There should be a magnitude, there should be a unit. So standard measurement of any physical quantity is called unit. Then when you come to the measurements, what we will come across? We'll come across measurement of length, mass, time, area, and volume. All these can be measured either by formula or by method or by different types of instruments. Right? Right or not? Various types of instruments are used to measure the any of this measurement, right? Okay, these all comes under the measurement parts. Just a minute, we'll move forward to know more about the measurements. So this is the first chapter where we are discussing about all these things. See, so what is the comparing known quantity with unknown quantity is known as measurement. Comparing known quantity with unknown quantity. One should be known, other should be unknown. And both you are joined, and you can check the length, mass, time, everything can be measured by using the measuring devices or methods or by formulas. Right? So a suitable standard used for the measurement is called unit. For different physical quantities, use a different standard measurements like meters, centimeters, kilometers, or kg, grams, or seconds, minutes, hours. Right? That is called units. Right? So like that, every physical quantity can be measured by some of the standard measurements. So physical quantity, any physical quantity, whether it is a force or a mass or a time, they are accompanied by magnitude followed by the unit. Without unit, there is no value for the any physical quantity. Unit plays very important role. So we'll deeply discuss about one by one. See, there are some physical quantities which are directly derived. They are called fundamental physical quantities, which are independent. There are only 7 fundamental physical quantities are there. Number 1, length, time, current, luminous intensity, mass, temperature, and amount of substance. These are the only fundamental physical quantities which are independent, which does not depend on any quantities. They can be obtained directly. Right? They are called fundamental physical quantities. All the physical quantities which can be measured either by method or by formula or by instrument are classified into fundamental physical quantities, which are only 7. Only 7 are there. Whereas remaining all are comes under the derived physical quantities. What they are called? They are derived from fundamental physical quantities. Means we can obtain them from fundamental physical quantities. They are called derived physical quantities. You can see here. Area is there. What is area? Length into breadth. So length is a fundamental, breadth also fundamental. From 2 fundamentals, we are getting one quantity called derived. Density, mass by volume. What is mass? Fundamental physical quantities. Volume also, length into breadth into height, fundamental. Speed, distance by time. Distance also a fundamental quantity, time also a fundamental quantity. So both gives the speed for us. Like that, there are so many are there in table. You can find in your material when you get the material later, right? So these are all comes under derived quantities. So measurement is nothing but comparing the known quantity with unknown quantity. All the physical quantities, all the quantities which can be measured are called physical quantities. Physical quantities are 2 types. One is fundamental physical quantities, other one is derived physical quantities. Right? Fundamental and derived physical quantities. Okay. So these are the units already I told you. Free physical quantity is measured by some or other units. Right? That I already told. Mass is measured in kg or gram. Length is measured in meter or centimeter or kilometer. Time is measured in seconds mainly, or minutes, hours, days, weeks, months. So many are there, right? They are the. So before going to know how to measure the length, let me show you one video on its measurement. After seeing video, we'll come back to the right. Just some introduction part of measurement we'll see.
Professor!
Oh, Cherry, what happened? Catch your breath first and then tell.
Professor, I magically turned taller last night. Nobody believes me, but I know I'm tall now.
What makes you believe this, Cherry?
Last night, I was standing next to my brother, and my grandmother told me I'm a finger size shorter than him. Today morning, when I asked my grandfather, he said I'm half a finger shorter than my brother.
Oh, my little Cherry, fingers are not the right way to measure your height. You should learn about measurements.
Okay, then let's greet our friends and learn about measurements today.
Of course. Welcome, kids. I am Dr. Oxygen and here is my cute assistant, Cherry. As you just heard, we are going to learn about measurements.
We are ready for the sci-fi ride, Professor.
Let's hop on. Rani and Ravi share a desk in their classroom. They end up fighting very frequently over the share of the desk. Their teacher suggested them to measure the length of the desk and divide the desk into 2 equal halves. Let's learn with them how to do it. In this module on measurements, where we will study need of measurements, standard units of measurements. In order to divide the desk in 2 equal parts, Ravi measured the length of the desk using an old cricket wicket and the bail. The desk length came out to be equal to 2 cricket wicket lengths and 2 bails length. They drew a line in the middle of the desk. Now, Ravi and Rani had equal share of the desk to use. After a few days, the marked lines get wiped out. Ravi again measured the desk length, this time using cricket wicket and a bail from a new set. Surprisingly, the desk length seemed to be about 2 cricket wicket lengths, 1 bail length with a small length still left out. This left out length is less than 1 bail length. To resolve this issue, their teacher instructed them to use a scale to measure the desk length. That was easy, measuring the desk length using a scale.
So known quantity.
So, Professor, I should also measure my length with scale.
That is not a bad idea, Cherry, but it will be better if you use a measuring tape.
Tape.
Why measuring tape?
Measuring tape is longer and complete height can be measured in one go. But in case of scale, you will have to measure it in parts, so there are chances of mistake.
I will ask Mom to get me a measuring tape today.
Good idea, Cherry. But for now, let's learn more about measurements with an activity. Time for the sci-fi ride.
Come on, friends, let's go!
As an activity, Ravi is measuring the length and breadth of his classroom using his foot as a unit of length. He finds that his classroom is 10 feet long and 12 feet wide. So we understand that measurement means the comparison of an unknown quantity with some known quantity. This known fixed quantity is called a unit. In the above example, the fixed known quantity 1 scale length and 1 foot length. The result of a measurement is expressed in 2 parts. One part is the number or magnitude and the other part is the unit of the measurement.
Professor, I'm still wondering why my grandparents told the difference in height with the help of fingers.
Oh, Cherry, that is because in old times, fingers were used to measure length.
Oh, I'm angry with them. They did not measure the difference correctly. One said 1 finger and the other said half finger.
Cherry, sweet little berry, it's not their fault. Their fingers are of different sizes, so they gave different answers.
I'm still angry.
Okay, let me take you on another ride. I'm sure learning there will explain the problem to you and you will not be angry with your grandparents.
Okay, Professor, as you say. Join in, friends.
From earlier times, people used length of a foot, the width of a finger, the distance of a step as units of measurement.
Golden days.
As everyone's body parts are of slightly different sizes, it caused confusion in correct measurement. In order to bring about uniformity across the world, scientists accepted a set of standard units of measurement.
Note down this will commonly used measurements of length. You can see here 1 foot means 12 inches. 1 yard means 36 inches. Again, 1 yard also 3 feet. So many information is there, right?
The standard system of units now used are known as the International
Here,
System
seven
of
fundamental
Units,
quantities.
that is, SI units. For example, the SI unit of length is a meter. Each meter is divided into 100 equal divisions called centimeter, and each centimeter has 10 equal divisions called millimeter. For measuring large distances,
Kilometers.
meter is not a convenient unit. Therefore, a larger unit of length, that is, a kilometer, is used.
Aha! Now I know why mom says she bought 3-meter ribbon for my ponytails and 2-meter cloth for my winter scarf.
Bullseye, Cherry!
Now I'm enjoying this study about measurements.
I'm glad you're not upset anymore. Let me amaze you more. Do you know?
Right.
The measurements in sports, like gymnastics, are extremely important and can make the difference between winning and losing. Look at these
1 inch also
gymnasts here,
depends.
for instance. They perform on a mat measuring exactly 12 by 12 meters in area. And look at this girl gymnast here. She has to somersault and balance herself on a beam as thin as 10 centimeters. That's not all. The rings on which the gymnasts swing are not as easy to hang from either. They are about 250 centimeters high. That's the height of an average room's ceiling.
Lot of information about the
250 centimeter high ceiling. That's pretty high, Professor. I would need wings to go up there that fast.
I agree with you, Cherry. That's why these sports need lots of practice and right training. We have learned a lot today, and now it's time for a quick recap. In this module,
what we
we
learned
have
is shown here, right? So this is about the what is exactly the measurement. Okay, so we can measure the all the physical quantities which are in and around us. So in case of length, you can see here, we want to measure the length. To measure the length or distance, we have so many devices. For example, you can see first we have the scale, common scale. This is scale, tape, right? Another steel tape. We have the vernier calipers. Small lengths you can measure. That is screw gauge. You can measure smallest lengths also. Smallest lengths or thickness can measure by these things. So these are all measuring devices to measure the length of an object. What? Length of an object. Length is nothing but distance from one point to another point. Starting point to ending point is called length, right? So these are the devices used to measure the all the lengths, right? Okay. So there are, for example, if you want to measure the mass, second one, mass can be measured by, you can see here, common balance. We can see in vegetable markets, common balance, electronic balance, spring balance, and different types are available. When you go to the different shops, gold shop, different thing is there. Kirana shop, different is there. Vegetable market, different are there. But all these are used to measure the only mass of an object or weight of an object, right? So various types of balance are available in the market, which can be used to measure the mass. Similarly, time, different types of watches from olden days to till the date. See, water clock, sundial, pendulum clock, mechanical clock, digital clock, right? All these are to measure the time. So time, measured in seconds, 1 second, 60 seconds is equal to 1 minute, 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour, 24 hours is 1 day, 365 days is 1 year, 10 years is 1 decade. These all are the relations of the time. So length, mass, time, which are the fundamental quantities. So we have seen how to measure them by using the various devices. Okay. So how to measure the area? Area we can measure by formula. Depends on the shape, we'll get the formula for the area. Right? Area is nothing but length into breadth. Okay. Then we can measure the volume also. We can measure the volume of the any type of body, any shaped body we can measure, whether it is a solid or liquid. Liquids to measure by using the various apparatus like measuring cylinder, measuring flask, measuring pipettes, burette. All these things are comes under to measure the volume. Okay. So many are there results. We can use all these things to measure. So this is the entire thing about the what is the measurements for your standard. Okay. So we learn about what is measurement to compare the unknown quantity with the known one, and what are the physical quantities which are classified into fundamental and derived. Then how to measure the length by using various scales, tapes, steel tape, vernier calipers, screw gauge. How to measure the mass by using the different types of balances, and how to measure the time by various watches from ancient time to till the date. Right? So this is total chapter for you. And now you have to get ready with the exam. On 15th, we have examination test on this particular one, first chapter. So take the help of your teachers and prepare well and write well. Right? So thank you all of you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.